This is a quick video about how to set up a new user in Google Workspace. So you want your new employee or whatever to be able to have an address, which is something like this, coaching@faqbusiness.com.au or whatever it might be. As you can see, that one's not a very good example because it hasn't got a signature set up. So for instance, I'm just going to show you how to go through this process of setting up a person. So we have the main account, the person, so in this case me, Joan at FAQ Business, and then I have a whole bunch of aliases. They're all connected to the same account. So the first thing that we need to do, this is all assuming that you already have a Google Workspace already set up. If you do, then what you're basically going to do is just type into Google admin. Okay, so or you can just go straight to admin.google.com. Once you go there, you end up in the screen here. So it's your Google admin account. So all you're going to do in here, as you can see, there's a list of users. You can see the people you've already got it set up. And for instance, if someone left and a new person started, you could either delete that user or you could simply reassign that user if you liked. So as you can see, you can update a user's name or email. So if you just want to keep the same account rolling over because you want them to have access to history in that account, say they're monitoring all your sales inquiries, then that might be a better way of doing it. But we're going to assume here you just want to add a brand new user. So all we're going to do is simply go add a user. So that's going to show you who the new people are, obviously, and then it's just going to automatically spring this new account into place. So we're going to say that this one is new user, this is their name, and we're going to give them a name. So in this case, it's going to be new at faqbusiness.com.au because it's automatically choosing that. So if I change that to Newt, then you'll see that it automatically changes that to Newt. So whatever you put in the first name field is it's going to suggest that here. So that's how you set up your new user. So you literally can go through here and follow through if you want to add a profile photo and do anything like that. And then you can just simply go add a new user. Now that creates the user at the high level and will create them into your billing. So basically we go back to the home here, back to the users. We can see, who's going to be billed and all that sort of stuff, right? So if you click on my one here, though, you'll be able to see that I've got a bunch of aliases set up. So ignore the secondary info and all that, which you can obviously log in so they can get in if they get stuck. But what we do is we scroll down. You allocate each user a different privilege. So one thing you would have done in the setup thing is decide which role they were going to have. So you can be a super admin and all these other things. So obviously I am a super admin because I do everything on my business. So it connects everything together. So when you've gotten here, you've got add alternative emails. So this is where you can see all of my alternate emails. So you can give this user up to 30 alternate emails. It used to be 10, but it's now 30. Now, the good thing I like about Google Workspace, and is honestly why I prefer it, say, over Office 365 or anything else, is that all of these are in exactly the same account. So I can create all of these in one, and therefore I have access to all of these in one account. The downside is, for instance, I've got accounts at FAQ Business, but if I had an external accounting person, I wanted to have access to that email so they could send automated emails through the accounting system, then they would have access to all my emails because that mailbox is not unique. It's part of the overall mailbox. So just something to be wary of. You need to decide whether you want your accounts mailbox as a completely separate standalone mailbox with a completely separate cost, or whether you're just putting it in one. So for me at the moment, this works. But what I would probably consider doing is something like accountant or accounts department or something. And I'd just set up another email address completely standalone from mine. But the great thing about this, for instance, is that I can put things like, for instance, podcast at FAQ Business, and then I know that people that have used that particular email, they're going to type that in, so I can actually do searches in that by it. And it also means when I come over here, I can actually send an email back from podcast. So I can set up a completely separate signature and everything like that. So how do you set up your signatures and stuff? Because at the moment we've set them up in the admin side, but we haven't actually set them up. So what will happen is it will email that new email address and everything. So you can obviously go in there as them initially, get it set up, and then you can pass it over to them. So my recommendation is to set up kind of standard signatures. So you can either see, you can do things like this one was created in Canva, this little picture. The downside of the picture type ones is that there's only a single clickable link in here. All of these are not clickable, whereas the Canva document itself was as a PDF, but not as a JPEG. So, you know, I can't click on online school and faqbusinesstraining.com.au, can't click on both, but I can have that entire picture clicks to one link. And all I do is by clicking that entire box and then clicking the link field and then putting what the link is there. But I can do that in the signature. So what I do in the settings, so you've got to go into your settings and you go see all settings. Now, once you're in see all settings, you have a thing called accounts. And obviously this is where I can set up all my alias signatures and all that type of stuff. But your new account will have some emails sent to it and it'll give you some guiding instructions. But once you've got it set up, you then need to set up things like your signature. So first of all, in the accounts field, if you have set up aliases, you have to actually acknowledge the aliases. So you have to go, for instance, add another email address and type in the email address. So, and how you want it to appear. So this says Jane Tweedy at FAQ Business. Obviously it might say podcast FAQ Business, or it might just say FAQ Business Podcast, whatever. And then it'll have this, and see how it's got tick treat as an alias. You still need to do that in that first step, but then this is like a secondary validation, so the two connect together. So you're going to put that if you're using any aliases. Okay, so make sure you go to the accounts tab and do that. To do the actual signatures, we go back to the front page, we scroll down here to signature, and we can go create new. Obviously there's none there. So for instance, the one that we looked up before, I think the coaching one. Oh no, there is a coaching one there. Don't know why that didn't show up before. So we have kind regards Jane Tweedy. We've got my name and things, who I am, what my position is. I'm a business coach and founding director, and it's got my details in there. So that's just a text-based one with a single little picture in there. As I said, the training one, I've put a Canva picture in. I was just really trying it out to see how it works. And then to create these as clickable links, I basically just included a little picture. And you can see when I click on that picture, it's got go to link LinkedIn, go to link Instagram, etc. So I've made all of those clickable. So again, if we look at this and we look at the training one, so once you've set all these signatures up, basically you just need to choose which one you want to send it from. So if I want to send it from training at FAQ Business, I drop down there. So on the recipient end, this will be clickable once, because like I said, I can't have multi-clicks. That's clickable once, and I've put them separately as well. So all the clicks I want them to have, I've now given them all the links, and that is in there. Now, the problem with this sometimes is that, for instance, that picture might not actually show up, and it might go as an attachment, which can be really annoying, which is why, honestly, I think it's safer to do it this kind of way. So if they don't get the picture of the podcast in there, or they don't get the logo, won't matter. The world won't end. But the other thing we can do is we can keep replacing this picture with something else and whatever's the thing at the moment, and we can use that as banner advertising. So it's a really good way to help advertise certain services. So that is that. So this is how you set up your signature. Just remember, once you've done all your signatures, that you go down the bottom here and go save changes. Because if you don't save changes, it doesn't work. Also in here, as you can see, there's an out of office in there. There's other bits and pieces that you can turn on and adjust, particularly if you want certain settings set up certain ways. So there's a whole bunch of things in here. So obviously the person, or you, if you're setting it up on behalf of someone, can go through and adjust all these for you. And then of course you can just set that up on your phone using the Gmail application on your phone. So I hope that was useful. So just remember, the key thing is go look at Google Admin first, or admin.google.com. Go into the user section and add a user, and then you can also choose to add aliases. You can send and receive from aliases in Google Workspace, which is why I really like them. Cheers.